Hey everybody, Bill Flipper here, and I'm talking about the number one skill in life in general, but also to scale your business and grow. And the skill I've used the most in everything, whether raising a kid or just meeting new people, and that's communication, being friendly. One thing I learned, this is really super quick, that I used to be pretty standoffish and like introvert, but one, taking time to help people, but also smiling, just smiling like all the time and smiling at people. I cannot believe how far, like how it makes you much happier. And people are like, oh, like he's a good guy. And like, you know, um, just having that extra thing and saying hi and saying hello. I know it's corny, but it is honestly, like I said, like groundbreaking how far it can take you. Like when I pick up my kid, I smile at everyone, smile at everyone. And I think another thing I like try to do is when I'm interacting with people, I'd never use my phone. Like while I'm waiting for my kid, even if it's super boring, I won't whip out my phone. When my kid's at practice, all the other parents are on, or many of the other parents are on their phone, and I get it, there's no judgment there, but I try not to be on my phone, and or I never am on my phone. And I just like watch. And I also like, if you're doing sports with kids, here's a tip: you brought them there because you don't know how to do the sport as well as the coach does. So like a lot of people are like yelling stuff, and I'm like, dude, just like I get to be caught up, but it's like you don't go to the doctor and like second guess their, well, you know what I'm saying, like yell at them and be like, no, no, it's because something completely different. You take in their information, you learn, and there is a time, of course, to like protest if something is like you see something that's completely wrong, or a sport, or they're possibly doing something dangerous. But what I'm trying to say is you have the trust in the process, you go there. But I don't know, I guess that was just a sidetrack spiel. So communication. So I'm sitting here scanning, and this has happened at multiple stores where people walk up to me, and like this is a perfect example. I was at a grocery store, and I was standing on my I'm a short guy, so I climbed inside my grocery cart to like stand up at this super, like up onto the top shelf. And they're like, you can't do that, you gotta get down. So I was kind of like a jerk about it, like at first, and then I was like, took a deep breath, and I, even though I was completely in the wrong, but I like calmed down. I was like, you're right. I just didn't want to bother any employees. I thought I would get it myself. And and then they were totally nice. And then they get everything off the top shelf for me, and then go in the back room and get more for me. So had I just continued being a jerk there, and I know this is pretty common sense, but the point is, and from now on, I just ask for help. And you know, um, letting people know you're a reseller, like, listen, they say there's anti-reseller stores. In my small area, I can only speak for myself. I've run into a few people who are like, I gotta limit you. You know what I mean? Like if you're buying a ton of cheap video games, like Walmart used to have a seasonal thing where all the I think it's twice a year, they would mark like $60 PS5 games down to $3 or $5. Everyone would go and buy them. And once or twice they were like so shocked they would get a manager because they knew they were $60 games. But it was usually because it was coming out for free. I'm kind of going on a wide spiel. Maybe I should have taken notes, but so they would limit me to one, and then it is what it is. But most times, like I've been Target, I know they're anti-reseller, and I have tons of employees walk up to me and like, oh, try this, or we just marked all this down. And Ollie's, which is pro reseller, but like they're like, are you a reseller? I'm like, yeah. Okay, come back here. This is like and what they showed me didn't turn out to be like worth anything, but it was the point that they see me, and I try to be like really grateful and ask how they're doing. And I know some people do bring like donuts and food in, and I've had even people at Kohl's, which I heard was anti-reseller, and when I said I wasn't, I felt like such an idiot. And now I go in there and they all know I am. So I said to this one employee, so in life in general, I should have always been honest, but if people like give me a huge score, I'm like, can I buy you a gift card? Can I do something for you? And they always turn it down, but maybe I should just move forward with it. But I'll sit there and talk to them, listen to their things, listen to their life. Most people, especially in those jobs, they just want to talk and like take a break and just like hear what's up, and they all think it's cool because they have to go to work each day, and you work from home, or you do this. And like I run into so many people who are like, how do I start this? And the only issue is like, I tell them how, I show them. I say, but when I leave here, you have to go home and delve for like 15 hours on YouTube and then take action. And they usually don't carry through with it, or they go half hearted. And that's okay. And that it just means like, we're a special breed, or entrepreneurs, or a little bit like I always hear, I had an interview with Logan Altenberg, I believe that's how you pronounce it. And they always say, well, what advice do you have for someone starting out? And it's like, there's no advice I can give you that the person who would be successful would like, if I told you don't start out, you won't be able to do it, they would still do it because they'd be like, oh, I'm going to learn how to do it. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to grind. I'm going to get obsessed about it. And so that's what people have to do. They have to, I can show you all the apps. I can tell you the best stores and all those types of things. But in the end, you have to go in the store and scan. You have to make mistakes. You have to do a deep dive on Keepa and learn all these things. And if you're not willing to do that, or you're not the type of person who wants to, that's okay. But, be honest with yourself. I think a lot of people want to do it and then they're like, oh, it's like a bunch of work and I'm not going to see instant gratification, which is okay. But you have to, it's easy though, like I said, to just go and just level in small if you want to. And I always get worried because I don't want to give so much advice where they make the mistake of going out and buying 10 different softwares. And now their Amazon business, they did it for 6 months and they're $500, $1,000 in the hole. Like, so I'm always like level in slow, use the seller app, talk to me. And you can figure this out and do books or do things that are really cheap, like Kohl's 50% off sale, where if you make mistakes, it is not like a $2,000 RA order that Amazon jumps on, or OA order that Amazon jumps on the listing and you're taking a big loss for, because that's certainly a souring experience, especially if you're new. And but the information's out there. I mean, real talk, the information's out there. So the ability, and also to reach out to other sellers, I like to reach out to other YouTubers or people in that and be like, let's do a video. And it's funny, AC Flips said something funny. He's like, all the videos are the same. They just talk. I'm like, they are. So he's been doing these great new videos. I'll just give him a shout out where they do a deep dive on Keepa and like they pick products and you have to guess, would you buy or would you not buy? It's a cool little setup he's got going. I think he did like 4 or 5 of them. I know people really enjoy the Keepa deep dives, but all the information's out there. Um, you just have to push yourself. And when you're in the stores, when you're online, when you're talking to people, don't be afraid to, especially if you see other scanners. Like, and so a lot of people are standoffish, but then it's like there's so much meat on the bone. Like we can all grind and get money. Like, and I'm standoffish sometimes too. Like I'll see other scanners. So I'm guilty of all these things. I'm guilty of doing all the opposite like everybody else. But I've been more friendly and just talking to them about it because like there's a ton of ollies, and if there isn't a ton of ollies, there's a ton of coals. And like, if you switch to OA, all those things are, and, especially in Q4, there's enough meat on the bone. So if you see somebody out and about, and I always laugh when I'm dropping off UPS boxes, I'll see FBA boxes too. I'm always like trying to get their name and like see where they're from because I'm like, oh, I'm just curious because they are competition, but it's not really worth putting it to them like that. And almost so many of these people don't last. I mean, I think if you look at the stats, and my advice is one, be one of the people who last. Two, if you don't like it, that's okay. That's not a big deal. Like there may be something else you can do. There's lots of other ways to make money from home or make money online. That's okay. Maybe you like working a job and you're really good at it and you work in a wood making place and you love wood making. That's totally cool. And you're the best wood maker there is in the area. But if you like this, that's great too. I really enjoy it. I like the dopamine hits. I like the work. I like talking to people. And I take it serious as a business owner. Your job is to provide products Amazon buyers want. That's your job. That's a serious job. That's not a joke. That's not just to flip stuff. It is, at the best price possible for not just you as the business owner, but also the consumer. That's your job, and you should take it seriously. And you should make sure your products don't arrive damaged. Make sure they don't arrive like this is. I always tell people like read the terms of service and obey them. That's always my first advice. There's so many times where, you just can't take a shortcut. And people, I hear like, oh, Amazon can cut you off anytime. Yeah, I suppose. But if you do things right, you really don't have to be a lot. Every time I talk to someone who gets suspended or is worried about it, when you layer back the onion, there's always more to the story. It's like, "Oh, I did this, and it was just, it was 2 IP complaints, that's all it was." And they don't talk about the 30 they didn't respond to or the 4 times they sent in expired food. Like, there's always more of the story, and yes, they can, but there's risks in life. Your factory can close any day, you could get hit by a bus, like, there's risks. It is what it is. Like, I'm willing to take that risk, and that's why I say obey the terms of service, do the right thing. Super important if you're doing RA. Get your itemized receipt. Get your I really should get an affiliate link for this, but I use a scan snap. Whether you want to take pictures of your receipt, I recommend I think it's like a Fujitsu scan snap. The only mistake I got was I got like the medium one. I recommend the biggest, most expensive one they have or the best one because it's not great at doing the super long receipts. You kind of like it does them, but you kind of got to play with it. It's kind of annoying. But keep really good records. If you have really good records and you're getting your products from legitimate sources and you are watching out for IP complaints and you're checking your dates and you're doing what is asked, you have really not too much to worry about. Sure, something bad could happen, but I mean, I obey the terms of service. I do the best I can. I make sure, like I said, the customer's number one. And I've so many times where like I could have just customer had an issue and like rather than and they did like a negative feedback on an FBA order and I got it removed and then I reached out to them anyway and was like, listen, I saw you had a problem here. Maybe you bought vitamins and the box was all smashed up or something like that. Keep them. I'm gonna refund you and throw them away, donate them. Maybe there's still some use, or you know what I mean. It's small issues. It was a gift for a Nike box, and the box got destroyed, but the shoes were fine. Like, dude, can I give you 50% off? I got the feedback removed, but I'm still gonna reach out because the customer's so important. And it's like, yeah, I'm taking a loss, but I did the right thing, and trust me, that will pay back in spades. And uh, that's you just do the right thing. Look at them as they're just people. And sometimes, like people who do the bad reviews, they're just venting. It has nothing to do with you. And so many times it's product reviews. So it has nothing to do with you as a seller. The product arrived perfectly priced appropriately. And they don't like the shoe color, and then they think they're reviewing the shoe color, but they're actually reviewing the seller. So it's just common mistakes, and those are easily removed. They're like, sells the ugliest shoe color. It's like, well, that's about the whatever. I digress. Um, so be communicative, like I said, in life in general, do the right thing, be friendly, talk to people, try to make friends in it, don't be afraid to, and always be learning, whether that's in life, but especially with Amazon. I like a couple things I like to listen to throughout the day. I don't do much music. I like, Tony Robbins type stuff, Wayne Dyer, positive life improvement podcasts, maybe some financial podcasts, but also just Amazon stuff. I'm always learning. There are so many times I've listened to a 30-minute Amazon interview where I learned nothing, and then there's one little reminder in there or little nugget of like just great stuff that can kick you up. And whether there are times when courses or coaching pays, but I always say maximize learn everything you can until you get to kind of like that barrier point or that plateau. And then and then maybe it comes time for a course, maybe it comes time for training, but maybe you can just reach out to people and they'll answer those questions, and you can just instead of a course or a group, you can just become friends with people and they'll share leads or things like that. So that's kind of like I guess my August 28th spiel for the day. I'm going to keep making videos. If you have any ideas for topics or any thoughts on things, let me know. Comments below, like, comment, subscribe. Trying to get this channel to 100,000. And yeah, everybody have an awesome rest of your week, and you'll be hearing more from me. All right, see ya. Keep hustling.